Hey, everybody. Happy Friday. We made it through another week, and I am delighted to have a true industry thought leader, industry insider here to chat about the future of IT security, managed services, and so much more from Nntirety. Emil, how are you?
Doing great. Happy Friday to you, Evan.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Thanks for being here. Really excited to chat and to explore all things around the IT security landscape. Before that, maybe introduce yourself and how do you describe entirety these days?
Sure, yeah. I'm Emil. I'm the CEO of Nntirety. Nntirety is a managed services company that is focused on cybersecurity, but really focused on providing a comprehensive security solution to enterprises that transcends cloud to the cybersecurity protocols to compliance, as well as data and database management, as well as using AI and using the data as a platform to train AI for companies.
Wow, there's a lot there to unpack. Really exciting. Maybe describe where you fit on the landscape. You have a unique position as a managed IT services company. There are hundreds, if not thousands, of security solutions. It's really hard to navigate this landscape as a buyer, I think. So how do you fit in that landscape, and what's your unique appeal? I think I
Yeah.
guess you'd say to
No, look, the
customers.
landscape is full with point products. There's lots
Hmm.
of point security solutions, and the issue that companies are now facing is that these point solutions are actually failing to stop the threats because
Mm.
hackers are figuring out what these point solutions are, and they kind of insert themselves in between these point solutions. We pride ourselves
Mm.
as being a comprehensive security provider, meaning we manage the infrastructure, we manage the security layer with a managed SOC as well as MDR and XDR, and then we also manage and optimize the data, right? So what happens there is that in a lot of cases, threats, whenever they occur, they will come in through the infrastructure, and then the infrastructure managed services provider will say, well, there's a threat, or the security provider will come in and say, hey, IT, there's a threat, we contained it, but now you got to go and fix it. With Nntirety, we own the entire chain. We see the threat, we fix it, we do the patching, and then we let the customer know. In a lot of cases, our competitors, stop either at the infrastructure layer or just kind of like at capturing the threat and isolating it versus actually solving the problem, actually going in and logging in into the servers, into the firewalls, into the infrastructure, and doing the patching that's needed. And God forbid, if there's actually a hack that went through, we're able to do disaster recovery. We're able to do, recovery from backup, whereas a lot of our competitors, really stop at that point solution.
Yeah, that's a great point. And tell us about the genesis of the company and its evolution over the years. Take a little walk down memory lane, if you would.
Oh yeah.
What
So
is the founding story?
absolutely, the founding story company was started in the late '90s. The first incarnation was called Hostway.
Hmm.
Honestly, there's a lot
I
of people
remember it
that had
well.
these.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, I was gonna say lots of people that had their first website with Hostway, and then the company progressed in 2018. We merged Hostway and Hosting.com. So two companies that got started about the same time. We merged the two companies and we created Nntirety. And I was the CEO of Hostway. And then I was asked to be the CEO of the merged company and then, create Nntirety. The genesis of the idea of merging these two companies is actually to create a managed services provider with a heavy focus on cybersecurity, which is what Nntirety is today. So we shed a lot of the commodity hosting assets, co-location and all that. We don't do that anymore. We're really focused on managed services targeted to three verticals, right? The healthcare vertical, the financial services vertical, and the manufacturing/industrial vertical. All verticals that require compliance, that require a heavy level of security, and yeah, I mean, we focus on mid-market to high end of the mid-market type of enterprises, this is kind of where we are. Mostly we operate in North America. We have personnel all around the world, of course, but most of our customers are in North America.
Fantastic approach. And talk about your focus on emerging technologies. There are tech giants out there. We won't go through them all in security, investing billions in R&D. How do you integrate new technologies? You talked about AI. How do you ensure, best of breed when it comes to your solution set?
Yeah. So we view ourselves as an integrator of technology. So we will always take advantage of the best technology that's out there because we're a service provider. So, if Palo Alto has the best technology to implement SASE solutions, security solutions, we will use that. However, if there are other vendors that we're able to leverage, we will integrate that and productize it. Now, we're not a reseller of hardware or software. We integrate those into our platform. We have a proprietary platform and a control panel that essentially our customers interface with. But underneath it, we will use best of breed technologies and always leverage the best and most advanced. So in terms of AI, as you said, there are two areas that I want to touch on. One is that we get billions and billions of threats and alerts that are coming from all over to our customers. We have 1,200 enterprise customers. So all of those, it's really impossible to look at every one of those threats by a human being. So our SOC, our Security Operating Center, has been utilizing AI and machine learning technologies to identify threats, right? And identify them and isolate them, and then escalate them so that a human being can look at them and assess whether that's a real threat or not a real threat. And then what we do. And if it's a real threat, what do we do to mitigate it? And this is essentially how we've been using AI and machine learning for the last 5 years. And now we're accelerating it even more and pushing AI into almost every function in the company, right? Because this is the perfect set, because AI is great at removing repetitive tasks and essentially automating those in an easy fashion. And this is essentially what we're doing in terms of digesting all these threats. The other area that we are productizing AI is that we've had a long history. Evan, about 12 years ago, we bought a company that did nothing but manage, configure, transform, modernize databases. So that business has been great for us, has served a great purpose for us. However, now it's in the middle of this AI battle, right? Because for companies, for enterprises, right, to essentially leverage AI with their data, with the data of their own company, they have to build what's called a data lake. And this is what we've been doing for the last 12 years. Is we have expertise in all the major databases out there, from Oracle to SQL to MySQL, on it to even NoSQL databases. So we're able to pull all these data sources together, build data lakes for our customers, and essentially help them train language models and AI models against their own data. So this is the holy grail of AI. ChatGPT is great. It's basically glorified and easy to use Google. But when you train a language model against your company's data, you're getting answers that are relevant to you and you only, and that's your proprietary sauce. So we are engaged in helping our customers in that journey. And to be frank with you, Evan, once you earn the right to talk to customers about their data, then you can talk to them immediately about how to secure that data, how to make that data compliant, and where to run that data, whether it's in the public cloud or the private cloud and so on and so forth. So basically, we're leveraging all the four areas that Nntirety offers into that offering and kind of packaging it up for our customers.
Well done. What a nice proposition. And talk about the onboarding process as a service provider. I mean, how long does it take to bring a healthcare system onto your network? Is it, days, weeks, months? What does that process look like? Which is often a big challenge. People are overtaxed and difficult to make changes or adds or moves to a network. What does that process look like of onboarding?
Excellent question. So, look, it always takes quote unquote too long. I'm just joking, but it's not instant. These are big enterprises that are being onboarded. So, on average, about 45 days. Sometimes it'll go up to 90 days, and I'll talk about that a little bit. This is part of our secret sauce. So, our onboarding process is part of our secret sauce. We've automated a lot of it. We have. As soon as a customer signs the contract, immediately there's a dedicated team that is assigned for that customer, that essentially is doing the discovery and starting the process of migrating data, modernizing data, so on and so forth. A project plan is put forth, very quickly, and then milestones are, get followed. There's meetings sometimes every day, sometimes every week, depending on the scope and size of the customer migration here. What I want to say is that the 45 to 90 days is that sometimes, Evan, you have to train the data. You have to get live data to train your security, to train the AI, right? It's not a flip switch where, you just migrate someone and then you can immediately secure them. You got to look at the patterns of data so that you're not flagging good data as nefarious, and you're not flagging nefarious data as good data. So you got to really look at the pattern, and then that process usually takes about 45 days, essentially, to kind of look at the data that's coming through into that customer's environment and make sure that you are accurately discerning what's nefarious from what is legitimate traffic.
Fantastic, really interesting. So are most of your clients on a cloud journey of some sort? Have they moved to the cloud, and has that made security simpler or riskier in some ways? What say you when it comes to your customers' cloud adoption?
Yeah, so look, a lot of our customers are on a cloud journey, just like every company out there, one of the tidbits I always share is that, from a personal standpoint, I was one of the founders of OpenStack when I was at Rackspace, which is the open source cloud platform. But then also Hostway in 2008 when Microsoft did not have an answer to the AWS. Microsoft did not have an answer to the AWS threat. Came to actually Hostway and said, "Would you build a public cloud for us based on Hyper-V at the time?" And that's what we did. It used to be called Flex Cloud. And that was really the ancestor of Azure, if you will. That was the ancestor of Azure. And then, of course, after that, Microsoft developed Azure, and then, we adopted that. So, our history with cloud technologies goes from, to the beginnings, right? Very, very, very beginnings of the cloud journeys. And we're able to help our customers in a, I would say, pretty neutral way decide whether it's AWS, is it Azure, is it staying on VMware, is it staying in a private cloud, is it staying in one of our data centers, is it staying, on-prem, and we would manage it on-prem for the customer. So we're pretty neutral about it. We approach it in a hybrid fashion, but the secular trend in the industry is definitely a move to the public cloud, whether it's Azure or AWS, and Nntirety is absolutely perfectly positioned and has been positioned for a very long time with some of the original experts to manage data in the public cloud, whether it's Azure, AWS, or even Google for that matter.
Fantastic. Give us a peek behind the curtain on the team and the culture, if you would. You're obviously a pretty dynamic leader. I imagine you built quite a team, and you're in a spot of the country that's really on fire. In Austin, just so much innovation and growth and excitement happening. What's that like?
Yeah, Evan, I'm lucky. I wouldn't be able to do it without the team. We have a team of veterans in the industry and the company.
Mm,
If you look at the staff and the tenure, I'm sorry, my direct team and the tenure that they've been with the company. You have people that have been with the company for 18 years, 19 years.
wow.
Um, the shortest tenure is probably somebody that's been with the company for 4 years, but I've worked with for the last 12 years in my prior company. So it's a team of veterans, team of professionals. The company is that of customer focus and customer centricity. We have what's called the WOW culture, the Nntirety WOW culture, where we always go the extra mile for the customers, not just in the customer service aspect, but also in developing our products and the comprehensiveness of our products and our comprehensiveness of our approach, as well as the fairness by which we approach our customers and our partners alike. Very dynamic company. We have locations across the U.S. and Canada.
Mm,
As well as Europe, as I had mentioned. I was in Europe actually last week with our team over there. Extremely dynamic team. Lots of energy. Highly technical people that are customer focused is the best way that I can describe our company.
fantastic. Well, sounds amazing. Uh, I guess last question here. What advice would you give companies, besides working with Nntirety and chatting with your team, what advice would you give business leaders looking to improve their posture and security and might be worried about risks? What are the first one, two, three steps they need to think about to really up their game?
Absolutely. Look, the number one thing that I would advise mid-market and even larger companies and SMBs. I mean, I think that's a general piece of advice is don't try to do it all. Um,
Mm,
the smaller companies and mid-market companies, I guarantee you, do not have the expertise or staff to provide a solid security posture. They can manage it, they can oversee it, but there's no way any C-level is going to be able to convince their board that they have a 24 by 7 staff. They can staff 24 by 7 function that is an expert at all the different threats that we're seeing. So don't try to do it alone. That would be my second thing that I would advise companies to do is be cognizant of their risks and their exposures. Many companies will say, "Well, nobody cares about us. We don't have anything to protect." Well, guess what? There's universities that are being hacked. There are schools that are being hacked, and they're being ransomed. And as we saw in the Change Healthcare hack, which crippled major healthcare institutions, whether it's CVS or hospital chains or United Healthcare or, I mean, it was a crippling event and it's still ongoing, right? The of remedying that event is, close to 100 million. And this is
wow.
this is the other issue that we're talking about here. Yes, they paid the ransom. And supposedly the gang that ransomed them the first time, right, actually gave them the data. But now there's another competing gang that has nothing to do with the first
Ugh,
gang that is telling them, if you don't give us money, we're going to release the data to the world. And then they're going to be even more fines because of compliance reasons, and then all the HIPAA stuff is going to come, coming down because we haven't seen yet. I mean, all what we're talking about right now is remedying the event, not necessarily yet what the fines are going to come in from all the different compliance organizations, right? So my point is that do not underestimate the threat. All of us, every company has personal information that we contain in our there's personal information. If we're taking a credit card, if we have names of our employees, any of those exposures is a big risk. Don't underestimate it. Be honest and truthful with yourself, because the people that are engaged in this hacking, on these hacking motions, have really no scruples and no conscience. I mean, they're hacking hospitals and schools and shutting them down and bringing them to their knees. People can get their dialysis in some cases because an organization has been hacked. Think about that, right? They can't get their treatment. They can, I mean, on and on and on and on, right? So do not underestimate the data that you have and the potential value that it has to a hacking group.
Well, such important advice on that very stark note. One final thought here. We enter the summer months. What are you looking forward to personally, professionally? Hopefully there's lots of, in Austin, you have lots of barbecue and lakes and an outdoor time on the horizon. But what are you looking forward to over the next few weeks?
I'm going to tell you one thing that I'm looking forward to. My son just got accepted to medical school, and mid-July, it's going to be his white coat ceremony. So my wife and my kids and I are super excited. He's our oldest, and it's going to be great, and we're really looking forward to that. We're probably going to take a short beach vacation as well together before he starts medical school. But that's kind of that's going to be the highlight of our summer.
Well, wonderful. Well, congratulations on all of that and for the incredible work you do with clients. Thanks so much, Emil, for joining and sharing the mission and vision.
Of course, Evan, thank you so much for having me on your show. And please promise me next time you're in Austin, you'll let me treat you to some of our very good barbecue here.
Yes, that would be my pleasure. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for reaching out and following Nntirety. They put out some great content. That's how I discovered them on social. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Emil.
Thank you.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you.